Years ago when it was just a basement church. Grew up here, and it's good to come back every once in a while and see how you're doing. Then there's the rage that we read about when cyclists and motorists confront each other. I felt the deep anger from victims of abuse in the Indian residential schools, some of whom lash out with hatred at the church, yes, our church, for what was done to them, for most of them quite a long time ago. I think we're reading about anger this week in our lessons because it's a reality in human society. It's there, whether we like it or not. Thinking backward from the statement that we are made in the image of God, we shouldn't be surprised that God has anger since we have it. So anger is real, and it just can't be covered over with some lines, for instance, from 1 John, God is love. No, that's too simple. And if you try and use it, the anger just grows and grows and moves towards more violence. I think the response to anger is found in the story of Jesus. Jesus is the one in the middle, a teacher who knows and would know the words of Zephaniah, and therefore know of the anger of God, and at the same time the target of the temple leaders and of the Romans, the other officials of both religion and state. He would feel their anger. It comes together in Jesus. He is both mediator and sacrificial lamb. He's real. He experiences anger himself, as when he threw the money changers out of the temple, or as he tells this story today of a master being very angry at one of these servants. But Jesus stands at the center, bringing words of peace where there is no peace, challenging people to be the best that they can be. And on the cross, placed there by the anger of others, he prays for their forgiveness. He gives up life even, witnessing to anger being transformed into love. That's the key, anger being transformed. Working through and beyond the momentary explosions of anger or the deep-rooted brooding anger, working through to a better outcome. In Zephaniah, it took God a while to get there. Towards the end of chapter 3, the last chapter of the book, the Lord is saying, "The Lord your God is in your midst. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will renew you in his love. He will exult over you with loud singing." God has worked through the anger and is now embracing the ones that God had threatened with destruction. A transformation of anger into love. Why? How? It's a mystery. In this past week, we've remembered with thanksgiving those who have served in war. We combined remembrance with prayer for peace in our world, a peace that is threatened constantly by anger getting out of hand. Let's bring it to our faith, our strength, to transform anger away from violence towards love and peace. Back to that challenging choir. When I left the parish 4 or 5 years later, they had a party and they presented me with a big flag, a Union Jack, signed by all the members of the congregation. There was a strong British influence in that parish. And it was presented to me by two members of that choir, the same choir who had knelt when I had said, "Stand." Let us confess the faith of our baptism as we say,